Today I just been thinking about my experience with breaking my addiction to caffeine. It was July of 2020 that I broke my addiction to caffeine. And for me, it was very important. I do not push this on any of you. I know how difficult it is to break this addiction, and I know that most people are fine with it. For me, it mimicked my bipolar disorder. And so I would have these caffeine highs, and then I would have these caffeine crashes. And my caffeine highs were kind of manic. And it wasn't that I was actually being more productive, it was that I was just going faster in a bunch of different directions instead of actually being more productive. My brain is actually more productive when it's not caffeinated, when it's calm and it's able to just process and really assess what needs to be done. But the hardest part for me, whenever I did this, and I'm sure this is for anybody who comes off of any substance, because caffeine is a drug, caffeine is a substance, but anyone who comes off of a substance like drugs, like cocaine, like meth, like alcohol, like heroin. Anytime you come off of those, it's like you have to get to know who you are naturally. And that was really hard for me because I really liked caffeinated Emily. I really liked go get 'em, excited, go, 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 Emily. I didn't like the crash Emily, but I started to identify, and that was my identity. My identity was caffeinated Emily, not calm Emily and stable Emily. And so I had to really start to love myself naturally. And that took a lot of work. That took a lot of love, and that took a lot of intention to love myself where I'm at and to allow myself the capacity to do what I can do without caffeine. Maybe that means that I'm not on top of everything. Maybe that means that I am less productive. And that was really hard for me to choose to be less productive. And in the long run, it actually worked out that I became more productive because I was actually myself instead of just go, 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 all caffeinated and jacked up. But I just want to encourage you guys to love yourself where you're at. And no matter where that is. I had a client this week, and she said that anytime that she stops eating sugar and carbs, she always has 3 to 6 days where her energy is tanked. And she hates that, but she knows that it will end. And I think it's really important to be in that zone, to go, okay, I know that this is going to end. I know that I'm gonna level out. So just wanted to share that with you guys. So Tom says, I am still caffeinated, Tom. I may make that challenge for me this year. Yeah, it is not an easy challenge. It was literally, I would say, the second hardest thing. Breaking my addiction to sugar was the hardest thing. The second hardest thing was breaking my addiction to caffeine. And then it creeped back in at one point for, I want to say, like a week. I started lying to myself. I started telling myself that I was worthless without caffeine. And that was dangerous because I had already broken my addiction for, like, I want to say, like a year and a half. And then I had this big project, and I was like, okay, the only way that you're going to accomplish this big project is to go back to caffeine. And I went back to caffeine, and I had to confess to my family, to my sponsor. I'm not kidding you guys. Like, I really have a problem with that. For some people, it's just not a problem. but for me, it was. And then thankfully I was able to work through that. Jackie says, I am the same, Tom. I was about to take a sip of my coffee. Stop. Go take a sip of your coffee. Go take a sip of your coffee. Then Em started talking about caffeine addiction. I have been having only decaf, but I know that it has some measure of caffeine in it. Yeah. And like I said, I don't say this to tell you guys to get off caffeine. I don't. I just say this to encourage people that if or when you decide to get off caffeine, it's important to love yourself where you're at.